Josh is here. Sit up tall. John Boardman. I'll be darned. The Boardman boys.
All three of them work?
This is the guy I grew up with.
Oh my gosh.
He's a trip.
Hair.
Oh, he's such a trip.
Jeez.
He's one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet, but he is a complete trip. He got
Computer turned on.
8 years in state prison for he had like a 80-acre marijuana operation.
That's not surprising.
No, and I saw him when he got out. I didn't live there anymore, but I saw him. He'd been like, I said, Ricky, gives me a big hug, and I go,
Oop, I got the high school huddle
what are you gonna do now? And he goes,
notification just now.
I only got one skill, and that set me away for 8 years. He told me. But he's done really well with his life. Really turned his life around. But he's a
on
trip.
that one.
He has always been a trip.
I have one skill.
He said, "I only have one skill." There, that's a
Give
good.
me pull
That's
that
a
one
good
up on
shot.
light.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
We might not get him, but
He's one of my favorite people ever.
1.10.
The judge back home
Very good.
loves him, and I remember we were talking to him, and he said, "That was the saddest day of my life when I had to send him because I didn't have a choice." He goes, because I was looking for any way I could to reduce this. There's no way I could.
Hit send. Yes. All right, YouTube comments are working. Now I need to get a Facebook comment.
That fits, dude.
He's a trip. He's a complete trip. Yeah, he's a great dude. Brother Ronnie. You can tell it runs in the family. Look at those eyes.
Looking for the first Facebook comment. This is going to work there, right there.
We're at in Kansas.
Eureka.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we got three on the huddle page.
3 comments on, or 3 people watching on the huddle.
Huddle page, yeah. You on the huddle?
That's
feel
where
free
it'll
to
be.
comment. That's
Yeah.
where we'll eventually be anyway. So
yeah, it'll be there.
tell us where you're from. Say
we get
hi.
kicked
Who
off?
you cheer for?
Did we get kicked off?
No, we're good.
Eventually off the news page, yes.
Oh, you're kicking us off?
Tony Wilson is on high school huddle page.
Tony!
Big T.
Had lunch with Tony and company today.
Oh, were you at the function?
Function.
You said you had lunch with Tony and company today? Mm-hmm. Thought you had lunch with the bride.
She was there too.
Oh. Let me guess. Calishers?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I love that.
Still need a Facebook comment. Has anyone comment on news page Facebook?
Big Russell Rush is on the high school huddle page. 20 years ago, he won him state championship.
20
here in
years ago
Guthrie.
today.
Yep, sure did. Sure did.
Did I turn on the comments on Facebook?
Oh, boy.
One job.
Generations Church. There it is. Janet Evans is watching.
One comment. That's the one.
I don't see a comment.
Yeah, no comment yet.
Comment on there just so he gets it.
Oh.
Yeah, that way I can at least see it, I guess. I see the one that comes up every time, but it'd be nice to have that. We got a jam-packed show tonight on the high school huddle.
See if he sees that. Oh, Chris McLemore, Cushing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's funny. It almost felt like they didn't know what to do when they found themselves in a tight game.
Well, they've never been in time.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They're just like, wait, whoa, what's this?
What are you doing here?
What are you doing?
Okay, so I got Phil's. Okay, so Phil's came first. And then it should
They're
be
up
next
21-7, though. Then it went 21-14.
Yeah, no, they just.
There's Vicky. I see Vicky's popped up.
They scored in the second half. Which
Thank you, Vicky.
I think I got good reasons why.
Hey.
Like Sarah's and Chris didn't pop up.
Chris must have you blocked.
Well, then I wouldn't be able to see it if he had me.
Well, that
blocked.
was a joke, Chris. Championship, Chris. Good guess, Phil.
You can see that.
I leaned in.
That's still a good.
I can see
2
that.
feet.
It's the distance thing that really screws
Oh,
me
okay.
up.
Oh, that's 2 feet though.
My eyesight.
It's 2 feet though.
It's 2 feet?
I thought for sure.
Yeah. Oh boy. Tippy Toes is watching. It's good to see my bouncing baby boy.
Oh,
He sure loves his mama.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Not too much of a fan of his dad's, but he sure loves his mom.
Are we good? 6 o'clock.
Yep, we're ready. It is the High School Huddle here. Second week of the state championships. We have 6 in the book. A couple more this weekend. Appreciate you checking us out here on a couple of platforms. Guthrie News Page, Facebook Live, Second Banana Media, YouTube, and also tonight on the High School Huddle Facebook page. And we invite you to check us out on the High School Huddle Facebook. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Eventually, all that will be moved over to the High School Huddle where it should be. But we do enjoy our friends from over on Guthrie News Page, along with Ronnie Phillips, Phil Nichols, Chris Evans with you. We are joined in our first segment today by Mr. Josh Seabolt. Thanks for having Josh.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
Great.
Josh Seabolt, the pastor, of course, if you check out the High School Huddle every week, and I know you do, you know we are titled by our great sponsor in Generations Church for the second year in a row. Josh, the pastor out there, and appreciate you coming on and spending a few moments with us.
It's great.
Well, you played some athletics back in the day,
Yeah, mediocrely.
mediocrely.
Oh, we were on the same team. I knew I knew you from somewhere.
Tell us the high school days.
I went to Hilldale High School.
The Hornets.
South of Muskogee, the Hornets. We were the first district champions, I think, in Hilldale history.
Ooh,
Great.
wow.
There you go.
District champion, claim to fame. Yeah.
So who
Great
beat you?
time.
Who beat you out of the playoffs that year?
It's a great question. I don't
They
know.
only get tougher from here.
Maybe Salasol, Bubba Philpott. I'll never forget getting hit by him, so maybe it was Salasol.
By who?
Bubba Philpott.
Bubba Philpott.
Remember that? You remember him?
Well, I don't know, but I'll never forget that name now.
I love that. That's a football
Bubba Phil.
name.
I'm changing Michael's name to Bubba Philpott.
Look it up.
What a name.
So what was he the best player you went up against?
Probably so. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I don't know if he's the best, but he hit the hardest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what you remember.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I don't remember any of the best players, but I remember getting hit by him.
You still follow all those schools over on that side of the state?
No, not really. A little bit. Some
Yeah.
of them, but not,
Yeah.
not a lot. Yeah. Follow 6A. 6A is always interesting.
Yeah, we had some great state championship games. We're going to talk about those here, all you can ever want. We got highlights, we got stats, we got analysis, all that good stuff on the 6A games, 5A, 4A, 3A. And then also we had a Class C state champion. We're going to talk about A, 2A, and B coming up here a little bit later on in the show as well. But we want to get you on here and just thank you first and foremost. But tell us about, there are so many great things going on at Generations Church.
Things.
And, man, I asked you to go to the Facebook page, like it, and you can see all the great things happening in there. And I know you and your wife, big part of that, the cooks out there. I mean, your congregation is growing every day, every month, every year. And just talk about the great things happening out there.
It's a really amazing time right now. A lot of people think we're a new church or haven't been there really. We actually been there since 1968. Wow. A couple of name changes, a couple of location changes, but a different church probably than we've ever been. So we've got lots of cool things. The people are incredible. It's just not. It's not normal. It's not like anything I've ever been to before. But you can say that about most churches in Guthrie.
Yeah.
Guthrie churches are really, really incredible. So
Yeah.
we feel like every church kind of has a piece of the puzzle that they serve. Ours is compassion,
Okay.
And so we have lots of compassion ministries. We just announced man, I guess 3 or 4 weeks ago, we're starting the Logan County Dream Center. So, which is going to be food distribution, after school care, summer school. We have Family Resource Center that's going to launch, which will help new moms, new dads, foster families with tangible goods. Building a computer lab for people to make resumes, life training skills, that kind of stuff. So just stuff like that right now. We feed a hot meal weekly, but compassion's probably our biggest. The gospel's number one, but second to that is just compassion for those in need. We really go after the working poor. Mm-hmm. So, there's lots of benefits, rightfully so, for people on disability or people that just need a hand up, but there's not a lot of benefits for the single mom working in Oklahoma City, single dad. So that's kind of our niche.
We saw a cool thing on Facebook where you partnered with good friends of yours, the Vances.
Yeah.
And was able to make a car available to, I would assume, a parishioner of yours?
Yep.
Talk about that a little bit. That was cool.
Single dad, kind of what we're talking about. Works for an HVAC company, doing all the right things. Teen Challenge graduate, if you ever heard of Adult and Teen Challenge. So he spent 2 years in Teen Challenge, 1 year going, 1 year as an intern. Got 3 kids. And so, Monday, it happened so quickly. We've always asked God to help us do really large things to affect people's lives. And so 3 years ago, we gave a Honda Accord to a widow during a Sunday morning service. And, you kind of walk away from that like, that'll never happen again. That was amazing. Right. But then Monday, last week, we found out that he did not have transportation, but he was still making it to work in Edmond every day on time. Jeez. And so Monday night, our staff was together, and we were like, man, let's buy him a car. And then we looked at car prices, and we wanted to get him something really nice where he wouldn't have to worry about it for a long time. So Tuesday, I text Megan Vance, who's amazing, and said, here's what I want to do. I want to buy a car for a single dad, under 40,000 miles, 3 years or newer, a unicorn.
Something that doesn't exist.
That's what people always
Not a big ask. It's got to be blue.
White interior. Heated cool seats. But anyways, so I texted her, and I said, here's one that I think would fit. I said, would you guys partner with us and take care of 50% of it? We'll take care of 50% of it. Later that night, she texted me, hey, that's a cool idea. I'll get back to you. So this was Tuesday of last week. Thursday, she sent me a message. She said, hey, I'm in. So I called her. I said, you're in? Wait a minute. I didn't think it's really going to happen.
Whoa. I'm not ready for that.
Wait a minute. She said, absolutely. We want to help somebody for Christmas, and this is awesome. And so by Friday afternoon, we had the car pulled in our sanctuary. It was done deal, and we gave it away Sunday during service to that single dad. And so,
that's awesome.
And then he did the paperwork yesterday and drove off last night.
Wow.
So,
I want to say this, first of all, awesome that you and your church body do those things, but how lucky are we to have people like Megan and John and the whole Vance family?
Yeah.
They do so much stuff for so many people.
Right.
And I really appreciate you sharing that, because I don't think people fully understand how much they give in our community. Because that's one awesome example of many things that they do. And so I appreciate you sharing that. I saw that on Facebook and told my bride, Tanya, I said, man, check this out. And it is such a cool thing. And you talk about compassion, I mean, that's what it's about, right?
Yeah, tangible needs.
Yeah.
People need food.
Yeah.
People need transportation to get to work, to support their kids. And so, you felt needs, you got to meet them. And so to have business partners in our community, and we have to always remember that, like, who do we do business with?
Right.
Man, every car I have has a John Vance sticker on the back,
Yeah.
just because, hey, when you need something, when it's time for real tangible things to happen, they're going to be there.
Yeah, and I think, we're big Vance people at our family too, and I don't want to make this a commercial about John Vance, but I feel like it's so important.
Are they sponsored?
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely they are. But they're, I don't know how many vehicles we bought from Megan and John and them out there, but a lot of them. And Carp, I always have to put up with Carp, which breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Because he's a lot to handle.
A lot to handle.
Carp is.
He's not a big talker, though.
No, it doesn't say much. It was down to either, I said I want the 2 quietest salespeople possible to narrow it down. They gave me Carp and Buddha.
Yeah.
And I don't,
So I hired Buddha as
Did you really?
Yeah.
So it's your fault.
Yeah, he was working in the maintenance department with Nick, his dad, when I was a sales manager there, and I hired him.
He's awesome.
best salesman there is. He's so hilarious.
Well, Buddha still has the greatest video I've ever seen. Remember, he was at the concert a few years ago, and they got him dancing. He's up there, and next thing, he's still one of the greatest videos ever.
2524 West Nobles, the address on Facebook. generationsgot3.com on there as well. Love God, love people, serve both well is the motto, right?
That's it. Try to live by it.
Yeah.
I think you guys do live by it, Josh.
Thanks.
I mean, that's what's cool to see. Yeah.
And I guess, if someone's watching in Woodward or Hilldale or Altus or Miami, I guess they can always message you on Facebook or call you up on the website for any concerns, and you might be able to direct them in the right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did hear a very important rumor. I want you to confirm for me. Is it the first
Or deny.
Or deny? Is it the first Saturday of every month? Is there or is there not a pizza party?
Saturday of every month.
Sunday. I'm sorry, Sunday.
First Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes,
Sorry.
First Sunday.
First Sunday of every month.
Yeah.
He doesn't
know when we have church.
First Sunday. Sorry, I'm thinking. I got football in my brain.
That's it. That's it.
First Sunday. First Sunday.
First Sunday's Family Sunday, so we feed a free meal every first Sunday.
That's
Right.
awesome.
And it's usually pizza.
That's what I heard.
It's usually pizza.
what I
Now, we do Golden Chick a lot too. So, yeah.
Another great sponsor.
Another great sponsor.
You're reading these cliff notes really, really good. Now, if you got Dr. Charlie to go to your dental, then you're really in good shape
Nate
there.
Brown takes care of our teeth.
Yeah.
All that stuff. But, every first Sunday.
What are some other things you've got coming up? Is there any things you want to get out to the community that you have upcoming? Or?
Right now, just Christmas. Christmas
Yeah.
is really busy for churches. We call ours Christmas at Generations. So we start off first Sunday with a bang. We give away a car.
That's pretty good.
So, and then we just kind of go from there. So every Sunday is something different.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is making sure that Christmas is about the birth of Jesus. We know there's some other stuff that goes into that, but there's nothing worse than being a kid and not getting Christmas.
Yep.
And that matters.
Yep.
So for the past 3 weeks, we've been doing Christmas blessing cards. So we ask people, hey, fill out a card. Tell us your kids' names. Tell us, what your need is, what you're struggling with, and we collect those cards for about 3 weeks. We've collected them all now. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll be giving those people Christmas.
That's
so
awesome.
We're doing that, and then Christmas Eve, Saturday, Christmas Eve, we have a 4 o'clock service, 1 hour service, 4 to 5, and so that's about what we have coming up. Just Christmas at Generations. Christmas Eve, that kind of stuff.
Now, I know this isn't why you're here, and I know because we asked you to come here. I was teasing you. I was going to tell everybody. Josh called us and said I need some airtime.
That is
and
not true.
threatened us.
That's cap.
That's cap. There's a lot of cap goes on around here, but I know this isn't why you're here. But if people are compelled to want to support helping kids get gifts, is there a way? Can they reach out to you? Can they reach? I know there's a lot of great organizations doing things. Yours included. Is there a way that they can just reach out to you? Is that the best way?
Absolutely. They can go to generationsguthrie.com/give and hit give and hit Christmas 2022. They can also give to our Rural Church Initiative. So we don't just do stuff in Guthrie. We have a network of rural churches around Oklahoma. So Monday we brought 10 rural pastors and their families to our church, and we provided Christmas to all 10 of those families. And so you can do our rural stuff, you can do our Christmas blessing stuff, local missions. So lots of opportunities to be a part of what we're doing.
That's awesome, Josh.
Cousin Nate says hello. And, Josh got to town and got to meet him, all that good stuff, but really didn't realize until, a couple months ago, that we basically are family.
Oh, all four of us?
Well, not you.
No, that's
Not blood or anything.
Well, then I'm back in.
Yeah, you're back in.
Okay, I'm back.
But you're over in the Muskogee area. We have my brother and I have an uncle over there in Muskogee, cousin Mike, Uncle Mike.
Yeah.
And
What do you call him?
Uncle Ruggs.
Uncle Ruggs.
Yeah.
And you guys described him as...
It's a small world.
You said he looks like who?
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw.
Oh, yeah. So, Uncle Ruggs, he was my dad's best friend growing up. And Ronnie and I figured out that we were at his wedding together at the horse track
there
as kids.
Yep. And I guarantee you, because
before I was saved, we were probably sneaking stuff.
You guys were chasing them.
Oh no! They had the main floor, and then they went there's down, and they had an area. I guarantee you, you're running down there with me, Nathan, cousin Nate, and everybody. We were all over the place.
I remember running down.
Yeah, we were all over the place. So I guarantee you, it was you.
That's so good.
All right, we're going to let you get out of here. I know you didn't want to come on here, but
We
I made you.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much,
We appreciate
Josh.
you got what you do in Guthrie and the state and all that good stuff, all the mission work.
Do great things, man.
Appreciate
really
you
do.
guys.
You should be proud of yourself. You really should. I know you seeded this church, and I know it's been there a long time, but you came in and really followed your faith and was a calling. You left the corporate world, and that's a big jump.
Honestly, man, I inherited something really good when I got there. It was kind of like a rocket ship ready to take off. So
awesome.
Lots of incredible people, and Guthrie's full of good people. Thank you guys. You bring joy to our community and keep people laughing. And that's that's hard to do.
Yeah.
But Phil mostly, but
Well, they're laughing at
Laugh at. I think at Phil. Yeah, I think at Phil.
All right,
We
thank you,
appreciate
Josh.
you.
Thank you.
We're going to take our opening time out here on the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church. When we come back, we're talking state championship performances, state championship winners. We got some games to preview as well. We'll take a look at records. I got closer to Phil in the win column.
I don't know if you heard, Josh, but I won the.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can still win it.
No, season ended 2 weeks ago.
No, we got 3 games left, and we're going to pick them here in a little bit.
Oh,
This
he
is
sees a window.
The High School Huddle
He sees a
presented
window.
by Generations Church.
At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin, that's where the golden tenders come from, marinated for 24 hours.
It is amazing.
Then we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I like to get extra rolls, so I love it.
We are being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy. Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by 2 combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Lewis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Lewis Turney a call at 282-7600.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle, presented by Generations Church.
Welcome back. High School Huddle. Ronnie Phillips, Phil Nichols, Chris Evans with you. Wednesday, December 7th, second week of state championship games. Begin on Friday night with Class B. And then we wrap up the high school football season. Gone by quick. On Saturday at Chad Richardson Stadium on the campus of University of Central Oklahoma, 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock are the championship games. The Class B game will be played on Friday night in Alva, Oklahoma, Northwestern Oklahoma State University on the campus there at Ranger Field. We were there in 2017.
Yeah.
Had Crescent and Hooker that night.
Hooker, yeah.
Good game. Hooker went on to win that game. No, Crescent went on to win that game, and then Afton beat Crescent
in the
finals that year. But it is Sealing and Laverne. We'll talk about this game here in a little bit, but that's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You can't make it up to Alva, but want to watch it, you can check that out on the NFHS network. And then on Saturday, it is the Class 2A state championship game featuring Millwood and Washington. 1 o'clock at UCO. Then the 7 o'clock game to wrap it all up will be Fairview and Gore, 7 o'clock Saturday night. We'll talk about those games here in a little bit. But first, let's take a recap of the state championship games that were played last week. And congratulations to the Class C state champions, Tipton. The Tigers take down Winoka 62-36. Prince, I watched a little bit of that game. Prince was a big deal for Tipton all season long. Big guy. I mean, the big guy was kicking, big guy was running, big guy was tackling, doing a job, and that game was over at Southern Nazarene University. So congratulations to the Tipton Tigers who claimed the state championship there. And then we mentioned Class Bs this week. And so we'll go ahead and A and 2A this week. So I guess the first one to kind of dig into, and boy, this was fun. It all started Thursday night at UCO, the Class 3A state championship. Heritage Hall and Metro Christian. And the first thing I remember is that first quarter took 40 minutes.
Yes. Yep. It was crazy.
But Heritage Hall wins it 72-56.
I know you're going to talk. Can we jump right into this?
Yeah. I can
go ahead if you want.
I got 3 bullet points.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then you can break it all down.
Go ahead.
Most combined points in a state championship game, 128. Most points by a team in the state finals, Heritage Hall was 72. Most passing yards by a quarterback, Kirk Francis, 626 yards. In fact, his 626 passing yards was more yards than Heritage Hall total yards.
Yeah.
That was Thursday night.
That was Thursday night. And the thing that stood out to me was Francis goes out. He throws for 600 and was it how many yards?
626.
626
Yep.
and 6 touchdowns?
Yeah, I'll pull up the exact numbers here in just a second.
And he lost.
Yep.
Now, how that happens is you give up over 500 yards rushing and you turn the ball over multiple times.
6 times, I believe.
And so it was a crazy game. It was nuts, but it was just at the end of the day, it was an entertaining game.
Yes.
How about that?
It was entertaining.
How about that? Very entertaining game.
It was forever. It was like 4-hour game.
Yeah.
It was a fun game. It was an exciting game. But it went from 20. It started off 21-0, I believe, right?
I think it was. No, it was 14-0, I believe, and then
the bad snap.
What was it?
I'm pretty sure it's 21-0.
I know they scored 14 points
with zero
time coming off the clock. I do remember that. Meaning Heritage Hall.
Yeah.
There was a call that was there was some confusion on a call. I think some people said no, they did this, did that. I'm not going to get into that. I mean, those officials did a good job. They were there for a reason, even if that call wasn't correct, which I don't know if it was or wasn't.
Yeah.
That game was still won and lost on the field. And Heritage Hall, the kid there are 2 kids. Their quarterback was amazing.
River Faulkner, yeah.
Well, he was a running back.
Yep.
The quarterback
I thought he was going to say him next.
Right, and but the quarterback's name was it Beam? Was that right? Beam? I think it was Beam or Beam.
Running back.
The quarterback.
Andy Bass.
Bass, yeah.
That kid's a load. Yeah, everybody talked about the Faulkner kid, and he was player of the game, but boy, that Bass, he can get her done. I think he's just a junior too. I think the Bass kid is.
Yeah, Andy Bass netted 256 rushing yards, including a 74-yard run. River Faulkner, 222 rushing yards. So between those two, 478 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was Heritage Hall jumped down to a 14-0 lead. Metro got on the board. It ended up being 28-14 at the end of the first quarter. And after that, the teams, for the most part, played evenly.
Yeah.
After that, Heritage Hall outscored Metro by 3 points in the second quarter. They were even in the third quarter. Then Metro Christian had one extra point in the fourth quarter compared to Heritage Hall. But just back and forth. Started at 7 o'clock. The game ended at 10:20.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah. Usually we're in our car after doing a post-game show.
Yeah, we're almost home at that point.
It was a long game.
Yeah, it was, as I mentioned, 592 total yards of offense for Heritage Hall, where Francis threw for 626 for a state record.
And he would have thrown for much more, but didn't he? Was there some? No. I'm sorry. I thought he had 670 some, but I apologize. But over 600 yards passing and you lose. That's a story 30 years from now he'll be telling.
Yeah, I mean, he had set the record.
State championship game, went through for 600 yards and we lost.
He set the record for obviously in the single game and in the state championship game. But Heritage Hall did win. I believe I'm the only one on this panel that did pick that game.
I don't
right?
recall that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was.
Kirk Francis finishes his career 9,514 career passing yards, 115 touchdowns, landing him at number 12 on the all-time list. All-time number 3 on passing yards in a season with 4,384 and 58 touchdowns. So we talked about him a few times on here, and rightfully so, and it was a great performance to him. You score 56 points, you usually feel pretty good about in 11-man football, in 3A football, you feel pretty good about yourself, but you get beat by 16 points.
It was all offense last Thursday night, all offense.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see here. Metro threw 614 and they rushed for negative 15.
Yep.
And
they couldn't really run the ball.
When you get into these championship games, you got to be able to run the football, and control the
it.
clock, and stop the run, all that good stuff. You hear it all the time. You hear like, okay, that coach. That's
it's boring.
Yeah.
It's like when you say, well, you got to protect the ball, you got to play clean. Nobody likes to hear those things, but usually in games like this, those are the things that decide.
Yeah, we also kind of talked about it off air. If you had to have a starting quarterback on your team, he was probably in the top 2 or 3.
He would be my top 2 or 3.
You know, he's very good, very good quarterback.
Threw from all different levels too.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if he's. I think he's like he's probably a Division II kid. Wouldn't you say, Chris?
I'm not good at that stuff.
But I mean, I think. But just watching him, I'm saying, I think he's a very, very talented young man.
Undersized, but
a little undersized, but. If he wants to play football somewhere, I guarantee he'll play somewhere.
No doubt about that. Yeah,
kid's got talent.
So congratulations to the Heritage Hall back in the state championship trophy case. Another one goes there. And the next thing we're going to talk about, maybe perhaps the game of the weekend over at UCO was a Class 4A state championship. Wow. Wagner ends the perfect season of the Cushing Tigers, 24-21. Coach Dale Conduct. And I guess I forgot. We have the 3A highlights. I guess we can take a look at those real quick. I edited those today, so I want to make sure we get there. But that was the early on when you guys were talking about the ball going out the end zone. And here's a closer look at that from field level. And at that moment in time, Heritage Hall up 14-0. And then here comes all the
that was the ensuing kickoff, remember? And then nobody went to recover, and they recovered it. And so they're not
Here's
saying
Francis throwing the ball.
Oh, yeah. Look at this.
He can spin it. Yeah, very talented kid. There's the Faulkner kid. No, that's Bass. That's Bass. Look at him. I mean, he's all there. Athletic, big, strong kid.
Just
short on that one. Yep.
Yeah. There's Faulkner.
They get in. There's one of the first 45 touchdowns of the night.
That was a tip ball, and
yep.
It was like I said, it was a very entertaining football game. If you like defense, you'd been a little disappointed that night.
And then we'll look at highlights throughout the entire night for all these classes, for all the games that were played at UCO. And we appreciate the NFHS network with these game highlights. And that's
Faulkner.
Faulkner getting into the end zone again. Faulkner, 22 carries, 180 yards, 222 yards, 5 touchdowns on the night, and there's a turnover there by Metro, and that was a huge
big spot. Yep.
Yeah, with the 6 turnovers, and Heritage Hall turns those into
right
points.
There
by Faulkner.
Yep,
kid's a player.
Yeah, played good defense too.
Yeah, I remember Faulkner missed a few games at the beginning of the season due to a discipline thing.
Yep.
And for actions last year, and when he came back, he was ready to go, and You know why Heritage Hall was trying to get him back as soon as they could, but had that 3-game suspension to begin the season.
You know, being down on the sideline where, you know, and that's one thing I like about being able to go down on the field. And Ronnie, you know this from working the sideline. You get to see how these kids interact with their teammates.
Yeah.
And you can tell he is not because he's good, but his teammates really like him.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell he's that high energy kid, that fun kid. Probably likes to have a little too much fun at times.
Don't we all?
But right. But a really solid football player. But you can tell he's very well respected and really well thought of by his teammates. That's where he pulled that hammy. And I think after that touchdown,
that was his last play.
He didn't come back in. But
look at that, just teardrop, perfectly placed ball. Receiver got open, but sometimes when a receiver's open, that's sometimes the hardest guy to hit.
Yeah. No, this kid, the young man from Metro can flat throw the ball. I'm not saying he had the strongest arm, but as far as Ronnie and I were talking, said if we had to win one game based on who we saw play this week, who would be our signal caller, and he was top two.
Top two, yep.
I mean, he was. He can get her done. You can win a lot of football games with him.
And we'll go back now to Class 4A, maybe the game of the week at UCO. So. Wagner takes it to Cushing. Cushing's first loss is season 24-21, and they get it done on the leg of Ethan Mullingweg, who had a 36-yard field goal with no time left on the clock for Wagner to claim another state championship. I think now their 6th state title. Well,
and you said it last week. You said, you know, if there's anybody who could draw up something to slow down the Cushing train, Chris said this, it's Coach Condit.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've said all year we thought that Wagner was the best 3-loss team in the state of Oklahoma for darn sure.
Yeah, we've been saying that for a while. Yeah,
of course, they lost to Coweta in a close ball game.
Lincoln Christian. Was it Lincoln Christian?
No, it was Coweta. It was this Cushing team, 42-0. Yeah. And who was the other one?
Yeah, this is a game rematch earlier when, you know, and we had a Robert Allen was telling us that he was at that Wagner Cushing game in first matchup of the year that Cushing won 42-0, and he said it was the closest 42-0 game he's seen all year.
It didn't feel that way. I lost a hamburger that night, but to Robert, I should know better than to go against the pro. But
they lost to Grove. Yeah,
Grove. That's who it was. Yeah, but
semifinalists in
5A. But I'll tell you, they just. I mean, no question for me. This was the game of the first week. There you get a good look at
I don't think it was close.
Number 21 there.
Crooks.
Kind of Crooks, Mr. Do Everything.
There's Burlowitz, the quarterback.
Burlowitz, quarterback.
That's a dime right there.
I think the deciding factor in this game was Wagner and how they held onto the ball. Because if you remember, they had the ball at the end of the second quarter, and they went down and scored. And then when they got the ball in the kickoff on the third quarter, and they held the ball for over 10 minutes, keeping Burlowitz on the sideline. And they capitalized with the touchdown to tie it up. And their defense took care of the rest of the game. And obviously they won by a field goal later on in the game, which that was just a huge, huge thing for Wagner to keep the ball that long, keep it away for Burlowitz.
Yeah, and ended up being the Academy Outdoor and Sports Player of the game right there, number 4. Chris, what's the quarterback's name for Wagner?
Wagner possessed the ball 32 minutes and 4 seconds compared to Cushing's 15 minutes and 6 seconds.
Yeah.
There's the game winner, I believe, right there.
Yeah, we got one more angle field level of the game-winning field goal here by the senior Ethan. What a story here. He had a knee injury a couple years ago, tore up 5 ligaments.
Yeah, Coach says the worst knee injury he's ever seen. Coach Condit did.
And so it was a big, big celebration there by Wagner, and definitely the game of the state championship so far.
Yeah.
And Wagner, 6 state championships now in school history. And Phil, you were able to catch up with Coach Condit, and he had a pretty big message after the ball game.
Coach Condit, talk about you changed field goal kickers at the end. Walk us through that.
We have 2 that are great, and that young man had one of the worst knee injuries I've ever been a part of last year at the beginning of the year. And he's a senior. He's a tremendous kid. And I said, let's go with him. The guy that helps coach him said go with him. And he knocked it through. Man, I didn't know if it was going to quite hook in there, but it did. And I felt like it was very poetic that he fought his way back to be able to do this tonight.
Coach, all year long, on the high school huddle, we've called you guys the best 3-loss team in the state of Oklahoma. Maybe I think you proved that tonight.
Well, we felt like we were pretty good. This team that Cushing had, man, I'd say this might be the greatest victory I've ever been a part of any team I've coached, and I've had some pretty daggum good wins.
Coach, 18 years of coaching, that's a big statement.
Well, and we've won a lot of big ball games, but for this young group, with some seniors sprinkled in, to be able to beat that team, I'm telling you, this team we just played is a tremendous offensive football team. And the game went like our season. We just showed grit and we fought. You know, we just kept fighting. It wasn't pretty, but somehow we come out here and won.
Coach, go get with your kids. Great job.
Yeah, and that's head coach Dale Condit, one of the great coaches, one of the great guys around in the coaching business.
So well respected by the other coaches. Heavily respected. And I can tell you in pregame, kind of had a cool moment. I went down to try to find the coaches just to say, hey, this is what we'd like to do as far as interviews, you know, coming out of going into halftime, and when the game's over, we'd like to do this, that, and the other, and laid it out. And Coach Condit was a coach even then. He was talking to help me out, head coach at Cushing,
Rusty Morgan.
Coach Morgan. And, of course, Coach Condit's been there several times. And I said, so when the game's over, I'm going to grab the winning coach before the trophy. And Coach Condit looks at Coach Morgan and goes, it's okay, we'll have time. It takes him about a minute to set up. And he wasn't saying it arrogantly. He was just saying, hey, it's okay, we'll have time. You know, but he was just a real class act. And I think what was cool for me about that is, and we didn't, I know they got it on film with NFHS Network, but what you didn't get to see in that interview was the first place Coach Condit went is he went across the field and was congratulating and consoling the kids from Cushing, which was a class act, I felt like. Just an absolute class act. And he's right. Cushing has one of the best offensive football teams we've seen in a long, long time, for darn sure, in 4A. A lot of athletes, great quarterback. Of course, he's going to, I believe, New Mexico State to continue his playing career after he graduates from Cushing. But it was, for me, it's the best game, not even close, of the first 5 we've had the privilege of being a part of.
Yeah, and you look at the two programs. Wagner has a lot of success over the last couple of years, had the winning streak before Bixby blew by them for the longest winning streak. They had 48, had won 48 a few years back. Of course, that involves some state championships as well. But man, you got to feel sorry for the kids at Cushing, because they undefeated, had a spectacular season, put it on people. It was the talk of the town, talk of the state. Yeah. And man, you lose one time, it's in a state championship game. And, you know, Cushing doesn't get there to the state title games. They don't make these deep runs like your Wagners and your Bixbys and your Carl Alberts. You talk about them all the time. This is the one time we got to talk about Cushing this far. I mean, they've had some seasons up to this, but not to the title game. And, man, I can just, the community, the restaurants, all the places talk about Cushing, and then they fall one short. You can relate to that.
Well, it almost felt like down the sideline. I know you guys up in the press box with the calls. It almost felt like, and this is not a dig on these Cushing kids, but you know, they've blown everybody out all year, and they got into this game, and it was a tight game. And it almost felt like you could feel them tightening up as the game went along. I'm not saying they choked. I'm not saying that.
They played well for not being in that situation.
They played very well for never being in that situation against an outstanding Wagner team. But I tell you, you know, championship experience matters.
It does.
Yes, it really does.
And these coaching staffs that have been there before, they understand it, and it's not, you know, and listen, the coaching staff did a great job all year. They're a great staff, wonderful job, but it's those little things in these kind of big games that matter.
We only get 3 or 4 possessions in the second half. They all mattered, you know, and they were unable to score. But Blake Borowitz, I mean, he's going to end his career with 9,878 yards passing, 114 TDs. That's going to be 7th all time in the state of Oklahoma. I mean, that's big time. What a great career he had. Of course, he's not thinking about that right now after losing. He's probably pretty upset, but he's going to look back and say, man, that was pretty cool, man. That was a great run I had, you know.
A lot of football left in that young man.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you the other kid, the Crooks kid, the number 21, the wide receiver, return specialist, and defensive back. He is all man. I think sometimes, Camden. I think some people look at, they'll see 4A or 3A and they go, well, are those kids a lot? Let me just tell you, we cover a lot of larger class football. He would fit just fine at any classification he would play. I mean, this kid is a baller. He's tough. He's quick. He's a smart player.
Offense, defense, special teams.
Does it all.
Nasty tackler, too. Man. He was making some big-time tackles.
So physical, but he'll definitely play at the next level as well. I mean, he's an outstanding football player. And then the linebacker for Cushing, number 33, I just went blank. Real intense. Made a lot of big-time plays.
Raleigh
for
Matheson.
them. Yes, made a lot of big-time plays for them last weekend, and he's a legit kid too. And so Cushing, I know it, like Ronnie said, they don't realize it right now, but they had a special year, and they have a lot to be proud of.
Yep.
Cameron Crook, second leading tackler on the night with 13 tackles, 5 catches, 53, had a long of 22. Blaze Burlowitz, the quarterback you guys were talking about, 44 rushing, 162 passing, 2 touchdowns as well. So, and a loss. But nonetheless, a good season for Cushing. It was fun watching them a little bit. I got to see a little bit more in the playoff run, but just to follow them all season long.
Yes.
It was a good run.
Yeah, it was a great run.
Yeah.
Great run.
Just a kicker.
That's why you play him.
Kicker made a play at the very last play of the
That's why you play him.
Last game we'll take a look at here on the High School Huddle here in segment number 2. We'll take a look at the 6A games here in our next segment. We'll also have our picks, and we'll take a look at our predictions and for the this week's games. But the Carl Albert Titans will win another state title. They win their 17th state championship for their program. They beat McAllister 49-7. It wasn't that close. McAllister scored with 21 seconds left in the ball game. So Carl Albert led early and often in this one. And Xavier Robinson, he threw the ball.
Who's
he
that
ran
guy?
the ball.
Who's he?
And caught the ball.
Trifecta.
He had a game, right? As did Reed DeQuazy. He had a heck of a ball game. Great job. The thing about and we had a good friend of ours, Terry Bennett Jr., head baseball coach for the Guthrie Blue Jays and also assistant coach for the Guthrie high school football team. And, we were just talking just as buddies, and he said, watch this 85, and I think the other kid's name was 16. He said they do a lot of the dirty work that makes Robinson and DeQuazy look so good. And, boy, when you pay attention to it, they really do. So they have a lot of great football players there, well-coached team, obviously. And guys, they're 17-1 in state championship games.
Yep.
So when they get there, they don't really know how to lose. 17-1 in state championship games, which is just nuts. But a great job. Now, obviously, McAllister didn't have their stud. They were without Eric McCarty, who is a difference maker. I don't think he was 49 points different. I mean, I actually think the McAllister team a year ago that played in the finals and lost to Collinsville was overall a better team, personally. But what a great run for the McAllister kids, 2 seasons back-to-back, make it to the state championship game. They just ran into a football team that was very good all year long, but were playing their absolute best football when it mattered the most throughout the playoffs in Carl Albert.
Xavier Robinson, 22 carries, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Xavier Robinson passing the ball, 2 of 2 for 28 yards for a touchdown. And then he received the ball 2 times, and one of those was a touchdown. He's a junior. He's coming back.
And this is the reason why he was player of the game.
Yeah. Brent Venables on the sideline. Maybe he saw something he liked. Surely he did, right?
Well, Brent didn't talk to me.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, he didn't know he was on the sideline until after I didn't know he was on the sideline until saw it on Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah. He was incognito.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he had all the OU stuff on.
But I think, a lot of people do down there, but no, I didn't know he was there at all.
Yeah,
but
just watch when you're going to see a couple of these.
Robinson here.
This is a 4th down play right here. This is like 4th and 1 or 2, and this is what they do. If you watch this, you're going to see a package here again with the same package. Watch, he's going to follow 16 and 85, and it's just right in. Look, first one to meet him is 16 because he's the one who led the hole for him.
And that's not a secret. Carl Albert has that every single year.
Every year.
Here's the thing that didn't work. The defense played well, and so we're not talking enough about that defense as well.
Defense played
great.
But
they say, here's our 2 blockers. We're going to run this way, and everybody in the stadium knows it.
They're right here and the right here. Good luck.
Yeah.
He's going to Iowa State.
Worked for years.
He's going to Iowa State.
That's an Iowa State commit.
Yeah, Carl Albert playmakers like that all over. You got
1685 leading the way.
Taylor at Texas Tech. You got Jason Taylor at Oklahoma State. Carl Albert has players all over, especially the defensive back type players. There's Robinson's touchdown pass
to 85.
Yep. We're repaying him back.
Yep.
And McAllister tried everything, and it just didn't work. Blaze Ball, the guy who had a great game against McGinnis, over almost 300 yards rushing, couldn't get it going today or in that game. Only 62 rushing yards Did have a long of 17 yards, but McAllister just had tough time get going, and then the points were just way too much to overcome. And Carl Albert, another trophy.
Yeah, I mean, they're the standard in 5A football. I mean, there's other teams that have put together great runs. I mean, you've had McAllister's had great success here of late, and back to backs, and and over the years, Guthrie's won 4 state championships. Shawnee used to be a real power in 5A. East Central would show up. Booker T, when they were going up and down, they were there. But make no mistake about it, McGinnis has done a very good job in 5A. But make no mistake about it, Daddy's Carl Albert. I mean, that's who Daddy is in 5A. I mean, it's Carl Albert.
And this season, we're talking about the parity in 5A. So many teams can win it. And I think when I look back on the season, Carl Albert wins another one. But I really think the folks in Coweta are going, man. This
I would have loved to see that one. That would have been a good one.
This was our best chance in a long time.
Yeah, and listen, you get into these playoff games, crazy things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, playoff football. High school football to me is the greatest for me, because I'm a high school junkie, is the absolute greatest platform there is. Playoff football. I mean, now this year we saw a lot of quarterfinals games, like you're alluding to, where they were state championship game caliber games played in the second round in 5A, and it was Chris referred to that Coweta CA game. Of course, Coweta beat the brakes off, or excuse me, it was Carl Albert and Del City in the second round.
Yeah. Bishop McGinnis beat Coweta 35-28.
Bishop McGinnis beats Coweta, but Coweta beat the brakes off Carl Albert in week 0, 40-some to, was it 0 or 6 or something like that? It was a whole lot to not a lot. Of course, that was the game Reed DeQuazy went down injured, and but Coweta, for 4 or 5 weeks of the year, everybody had them number 1, and I think rightfully so at that time.
Yeah, another team that's going is Bishop McGinnis. They had McAllister down 22-7 before McAllister made that big run to earn their way to the state championship. Now, I think, remember Bishop McGinnis led the entire game against Carl Albert in their district game. And Carl Albert, I think, scored the winning touchdown with about a minute and a half left in that one. But Bishop McGinnis probably feel like they could compete against Carl Albert, maybe a little bit better than what McAllister was able to, as Bishop McGinnis had their full team.
And I think they could.
McAllister without their stud player McCarty. So all that, it was fun. It was a fun 5A season all the way around. You saw Elgin move up from 4A, compete well in 5A, finish second in 5A1. You have Grove, the third smallest school in 5A, make it to the quarters before they ran into a Carl Albert team who blew them out. Of course, McAllister, back-to-back state championship. Piedmont started putting some points on the board in the playoffs as they beat Midwest City, who came down from 6A2 for the first year. So 5A was a fun season to follow.
Tons of parity.
Absolutely.
Tons of parity. And I think we'll continue to say, I think there's going to be a couple teams that I think this was kind of their year to put a real run together. But for the most part, I think you're going to go into 5A next year, Carl Albert in that top spot. But I will say this: I think next year you're going to have 4 or 5 teams that are all going to be right in there with something to say about in 5A.
Yeah. TBJ skill players were enormous, and absolutely they were. And
being down there before the game, videotaping, get some highlights before they were huge. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take another time out here on the High School Huddle. When we come back, we'll take a look at the highlights and break down the 6A ball games. And one team won their first title since 1967. The other team won it since 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago they won it. So we'll break down 6A after this timeout. It's still coming up. We're going to take a look at B, 2A, and A state championship games this week. 2 of them at UCO on Saturday. We'll break it all down after this. This is the High School Huddle, presented by Generations Church.
Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by 2 combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Louis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Louis Turney a call at 282-7600.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin. That's where the golden tenders come from. Marinated for 24 hours.
It is amazing.
Then we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I like to get extra rolls, so I love it.
We are being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy.
At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle, presented by Generations Church.
Welcome back. High School Huddle, Wednesday, December 7th. Appreciate you checking us out all season long. It's been a fun season. We still got a little bit of work to do with 3 state championship games this week. We'll talk about those. We'll break them down. Some of us will be picking those games. Some of us can't. But we will be breaking those down in our next segment. But we do want to break down the 6A games this week that were played at UCO. Along with Ronnie Phillips, Phil Nichols, Chris Evans. We appreciate you checking out High School Huddle Facebook page. Go there wherever you're watching this. It might be on the High School Huddle page right now. But if you're not following the High School Huddle on Facebook, be sure to do that. Also, check us out on the High School Huddle on Twitter. At High School Huddle is HUDL if you want to find us there. Ronnie, or you can go hashtag OKPreps. Ronnie tagged us earlier on there. You can follow us there on Twitter. Of course, you can check us out on YouTube as well under the Second Banana Media tab there. And we appreciate Second Banana Media. It is a whole bunch of moving parts. So, or if that's not enough, we're on all the podcast platforms with Google, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. So you can find us at your leisure. And we appreciate you guys checking us out once again this season. We moved to 6A2 football. It was Friday afternoon under the sunlight. I always like day games.
Yeah.
You just, I guess, because
feels different.
You don't see it very often, but it was Choctaw and Stillwater, and there were 4 teams that we really felt good that could win a state championship. Muskogee was not in that conversation. They made the semifinals, but they were not in there. But we felt good about Stillwater. We felt good with Deer Creek. We felt good with Choctaw. We had Booker T. Washington in there. That's the only one we kind of felt, but Muskogee kind of took their spot in that Final Four. But there were 2 teams we thought could really be in the championship game. Would not be surprised with Stillwater and Choctaw. In fact, it was there. Stillwater hadn't won a state title since 1967, and they beat Choctaw 26-21. It had quarterbacks in it. It had running backs in it. couple of good coaches that had won a state championship. So there was a lot riding on this game. There's no Bixby. There's no Dell City. There's no Midwest City. We were going to have a new champion, and 6A2 was fun. There were some times throughout 6A2, it was like, okay, let's get to the big games. But Stillwater wins at 26-21.
55 years.
55 years.
55 years. Okay, the score is 26-21. Did not feel that close.
It was 0-0 after the first quarter.
Yeah.
7-7 at halftime.
Yeah.
Then Stillwater opened it up a little bit in the third quarter, shutting out Choctaw 13-0. So they led 20-7.
Yep.
And then Choctaw outscored the Pioneers in the fourth quarter 14-6. The last score came with about a minute 2 and unable to get the onside kick, and Stillwater wins.
But to me, it just felt like Stillwater, even though the score was tight throughout the game, it always felt like Stillwater was in control of the game.
Yes, it did.
You know, and listen, this Gundy kid, I think baseball's his future, but he's a heck of a high school football player, and you'll get to see some of his action throughout this highlight reel. But Choctaws, of course, Still Wassel, the Akron commit, very talented young man.
He was 19 of 33 passing for 281 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Here's one of the plays for the Stillwater Pioneers. Gage Gundy was only 3 of 12 passing for 14 yards.
But he ran for over 100 yards, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. Gage Gundy, 13 carries, 106 yards for 1 touchdown. That we'll see here in just a second as the Pioneers with a defensive interception there to get them in the scoring position. And I think here's one of the passes for Gunny.
It's a good pass. Real
That's
good pass.
a good one.
Yeah.
That's an outstanding pass right there.
No, I think if you're on Choctaw side, I think Choctaw had several missed opportunities.
There's
Gundy on the big run right there. But Choctaw had several opportunities on the plus side, being on Stillwater side. Ended up turning the ball over inside the 20-yard line, I believe, a couple of times, and just shot themselves in the foot a couple of times where they think they could have obviously had a chance to win that game, and they did. But again, kudos to Stillwater for stepping up on defense and getting those stops.
Yeah, great. It was a good game. It just always had a weird feel to it to me. I mean, every time Choctaw would have great field position, as we were saying, or they were down deep in Stillwater's end, there seemed to be a turnover, or they'd go for it on fourth down and
run right there.
And there's Noah Roberts. Noah Roberts, by the way, we need to give him a lot of credit. 23 carries, 198 yards, including that 48-yard touchdown run we just saw.
Yeah, great ball player. And congratulations to Stillwater. Like you said, they've been close over the years. Of course, Bixby kept everybody in 6A out, 6A2 out. But, it's nice for Stillwater kids to bring a state title, the first one home in 55 years.
And there's Choctaw's final touchdown with 62 seconds left in there. And Stillwater's going to run the clock out. And there's another big run.
Yeah, that was to get the first down to basically seal it right there. Yep.
Yeah. But Noah Roberts, 198 rushing. Gage Gundy, 102 yards rushing. But Choctaw had more offensive yards, and here's the onside kick to seal the deal. But 524 yards for Choctaw, where Stillwater only had 368. But the scoreboard is where the numbers count. And Stillwater champions first time since 1967. Congratulations, Tucker Barnard. And, Gage Gundy gets the state championship. His dad won a state championship. His uncle lost a state championship. One Gundy didn't quite get there. Had a couple times, but the Bixby machine kind of interrupted that flow.
I have a feeling there's going to be a little schmack talking at holidays.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody here won a state title, raise your hand. Oh,
sure.
Sorry,
I think it might be too soon for that stuff.
Oh, no, I think they'll start right away. I think they're probably a pretty competitive family. I bet baby brother makes sure big brother knows that every chance he gets.
Gundy's,
Yeah.
So the Pioneers, 6A2 state champions, of course, they not too long ago lost their head basketball coach to cancer she was fighting at. Coached last year in the state basketball tournament until she lost her battle. And they honored her. Usually you see a lot of blue and yellow in the stands, but a lot of pink in there. And they had a big presentation on the Jumbotron at UCO to celebrate her. So congratulations. Congratulations, Stillwater. And Stillwater's been so close. And they seal the deal in the 2022 season. Final game we'll talk about here as far as already played, and that's the 6A1 state championship, and it was a rematch as well. And it was all set up. Owasso beating Tulsa Union in the semis in 6 overtimes, and Bixby did not need 6 overtimes in the state championship game. Jumped out to a 21-6 first quarter lead, and then 42-6 at halftime. Everyone knows the story from there on out as they go on to win it 69-7. Bixby now with 8 state championships in their trophy case, and I think 7 of the last 8 championships, but it was their first one in 6A1.
Yeah, I mean, they've played 6A1 competition over the last several years when they were in 6A2 and had a lot of success against the Jinx, the Unions. Obviously, Owasso's beat them whenever they broken arrows, beat them when they did play them because many of those games were part of that 60-plus game win streak we talked about. But I think all of us, we had a lot of fun with this. I think all of us were hoping for a Union Bixby final. Owasso said, hold on, we got something to say about that. And we didn't get to see that, but I tell you, these Owasso Rams have a lot to be proud of. They were riding an 8-game winning streak coming into the state championship. Coach Blankenship, really a lot of injuries this year for Owasso, a lot of challenges, but he kept them together, held them together with duct tape and super glue, it felt like some weeks, but they should be very, very proud of themselves. Bottom line is it is not even close who the best football team in the state of Oklahoma is in all classes, and it's the Bixby Spartans.
And there's number 5, Dylan Has. We have learned he was okay. He's limping there, but he's okay. Throughout the entire year, we've heard Has and Haas and all the areas again. First time wasn't good enough. There's a second time. They scored enough touchdowns. They don't need any more touchdowns. But it's Dylan Has, like a has been. That's how we got that from Don King. We go, all right, Don, Has or Haas? Tell us. Final answer. And he told us Has.
The legend, Don.
Yeah, Don had the call.
Was it Dylan? Is it Dylan or Dylan the other brother?
Dylan's the defensive player. Luke Haas. Luke Has.
Luke Has
is the offensive player.
Both going to Arkansas.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I think there might be another former
There's Dylan right there on the interception.
Yeah, he was a stud. This is a great football team, great coach, great program. They're the standard in high school football in the state of Oklahoma.
If you appreciate dynasties, that's the team to watch. That's good stuff.
And you look at Bixby, and they're like, we won another state championship. And one of the questions in the postgame show was, how many state championships does your team program have? And the kid couldn't answer the question.
I don't know. We've won a lot.
And I don't know. I think it was Don who said it was Mark Rogers. It was Carl Evergraham. If you were a freshman since 1990 something, you have at least one state championship.
I think it was 89.
89 for
and
Carl
he said if you were a freshman, you played football, you were a part of a state championship game at some point.
For Carl Albert. Yeah.
For Carl Albert.
I was thinking Bixby, but it is Carl Albert. So you look back at Bixby, and they were the clear favorite to win a state championship, although moving up to 6A1. I feel like we got robbed a little bit. We didn't have Union in the finals. I think it would have been a much better ball game, just being blunt honest there. But Bixby, they have another state championship, and I wonder how many players on the bus on the way back home to Bixby, like, man, if we would have beat Jinx on national television.
Yep.
I mean, it'd been
the perfect year.
Perfect year. Yeah. Perfect year. But one little mix-up, and it happened to be on national television.
Think about the seniors for this club then because they used to play 13, right, in 6A2?
Yes.
So they were 26-0. Was last year 13?
Yeah.
So it'd be, what would that be, 39-0? And then 14 this year.
13. It had been 13.
No, 13 this year. They had to buy. That's right. So
51-1.
51-1. I mean, now 4 state titles, most importantly.
Yeah.
But that one loss, this group will be sitting around going, dude, how did we lose to Jinx? I mean, can you imagine a 20-year class reunion? They'll be talking about the loss.
Yeah, absolutely. Connor Kirby, therefore Bixby, last year their state championship was a dual quarterback system. And it started off this way with Connor Kirby and Austin Havens, who used to play for Owasso, transferred into Bixby. But really, Connor Kirby took that spot and ran with it the entire night, and he ran for he counted for 291 yards and 6 first-half touchdowns against Owasso. 16 of 25 passing, 205 yards. 16 rushes for 86 yards is how you break down his 291 yards of offense. But he really carried that, and Luke Has
it was like the first 3 or 4 passes was wide open. Like, he's like the best tight end in the state.
You might want to cover him.
You might,
yeah.
I don't know if he runs great routes or if also didn't know where he was at. But, Lauren Montgomery and his coaching staff, there was a rumor that Lauren Montgomery was on the Tulsa watch list. I know people were putting him on there. I don't know if he wants that or not, but ultimately it goes to Kevin Wilson over at Tulsa. But to be even considered for people to talk about maybe taking a college job, and it wouldn't be surprise me if that would be a move in the future for him. I mean, he has the knowledge, he has the look, he has the swagger, he has the knowledge.
Yeah. Would you see him though? And this is a question, I guess, but I can almost see him maybe going to like an Arkansas to be like a position coach.
You know what? I don't know.
You know what I mean?
You know what I think of Lauren Montgomery? Gus Malzahn. Someone like that. A lot of success at the high school level and work your way up. I don't know if he has aspirations.
Well,
for
I don't,
that.
and that's the main point. But I think he's got a pretty good gig where he's at.
Yes.
Well, you remember the stat Don King gave us about Alan Trimmel's coaching tree?
Yeah,
his coaching tree has won 14 state championships.
His coaching tree.
That's crazy.
He won 13 himself. Is that right?
I think that's right.
Coach Trammell?
Sounds right. Yeah.
I think that's
legend.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep.
I think Don said lost him 3 years ago last week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right, that is state championship game recap. We got 3 left this week. We're going to break those down. We'll take a look at our records, how we did last week, and then we will be picking the final 3 games of the year. It seems like we were just getting ready for week 0 between Owasso and Bixby.
Yeah.
We started with them and finished this segment with them. So take our final timeout. When we come back, we'll take a look at B, A, and 2A state championship games. This is the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church.
At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Hey, you in the 3rd row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Lewis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Lewis Turney a call at 282-7600.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin. That's where the golden tenders come from. Marinated for 24 hours. It is amazing. And we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I like to get extra rolls, so I love it. Mm-hmm.
We are being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy. Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by 2 combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exon.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle, presented by Generations Church.
Final segment here on the High School Huddle. Ronnie Phillips, Phil Nichols, Chris Evans with you. Coming up here in a little bit, we'll have our picks of the final 3 games of the high school football season.
Some of us will.
Some of us will. So when we talk about these games,
championships, you know,
when we talk about these games, we can't give our picks. And Phil, you can only give one pick this week.
Oh, let me guess. It's going to be B.
We Class B, yes. Tony Wilson will have the call of the game on that one, which will be played Friday night in Alva, Oklahoma. Ranger Field, Northwestern Oklahoma State University. Good folks up there. Always enjoy our time when we go into Alva.
Very nice facility.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It'll be Sealing and Laverne. We'll talk about that here in a second. You can check that out on the NFHS network if you want to check that one out. And then on Saturday afternoon, it'll be Oklahoma City Millwood taking on Washington, 1 o'clock, Chad Richardson Stadium. And then 7 o'clock, the final game of the football season will feature Fairview and Gore in the Class A state championship game. Those games will also be on the NFHS network. Mark Rogers of the WWLS Sports Animal and Todd Lisenby of the franchise will have the play-by-play up in the booth. Phil Nichols of Guthrie Newspage TV will be on the sideline.
Got fired again. This is 2 consecutive weeks. I got the phone call, Ronnie. What night was it?
It doesn't matter.
It does to me.
Oh, it does to you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get the phone call. He said, Phil, we reviewed tape. I'm trying to keep you involved. You're going to have to work the sideline. I got 2 pros working the booth, so I had to go down the sideline.
With all that being said,
I really am the second banana, and I'm the third banana.
You always want to hear who the state championship officials are. You want to know who the state announcers are, and don't fall into the pity party because Phil will call more state championship games than anybody else in the state of Oklahoma. So don't even go there.
I like to give Chris a hard time, and I feel like we've been doing a little too much because he had his hoodie pulled up last night when we saw him.
Now you bring it back up.
I know. But I feel bad about it.
Let's just go next.
So I do want to say this. Chris does a very, very good job. And I do want to, I'm being serious when I say this. You got to find a lot of people to cover all these games.
2 more. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to find a lot of people. And luckily in Oklahoma, there's a lot of really talented people out there that we can go get. I know Ronnie feels this way. I do. All of this. It's so much fun just to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And down at UCO, especially now, the sideline equipment, boys, is dialed.
Yeah, dialed in now, yep.
That is the best job down there.
It's fun.
And a big assist to Caleb at UCO.
Oh, because I was sitting there going, dadgummit, I just feel so reached because we had real problems with, and then Chris grabbed Caleb, the technology guy at UCO, and in 5 minutes?
2.
Less than that.
He hit buttons, did this, did that. Chris was sitting there watching. I left the room. My brain was smoking. I didn't know what they were talking about. But I put that on. I could walk to Applebee's and have reception. Blocks. It is the most amazing thing. I can walk anywhere I want.
He's talking about his ears.
My ears. I can hear stuff. It's so
staticky.
good.
Yeah, it was staticky.
No static. It was like, this is a dream.
And we've had that technology right there in our hands.
For all these years.
For all the years.
Yeah. But seriously, working the sidelines is a lot of fun because you get to watch the interaction with the kids. You get to hear the discussions with the coaches. You get to hear the back and forth with the third team on the field, the officials, with the coaching staffs. You get to be down there and catch the emotion of the game up close when the final second ticks off and somebody's the state champion. So it's really cool. So we're going to have a great cruise next Saturday for A and 2A state championship football. It's fun just to be a part of it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So check us out if you want to. If you can't make the trip over to Edmond, Chad Richardson Stadium, we will have it on the NFHS network. First game we'll take a look at, remember, talk in general terms because we don't want to give your picks away. That's coming up here in a few moments. Class B state championship game again in Alva will feature Sealing and Laverne. It's a matchup back on September 9th when Sealing edged Laverne 40-38, and I think Sealing had a 34-6 lead, and Laverne came back and made it close. And with Sealing beating Laverne, that snapped their 13-game losing streak to Laverne. So they were happy about that. But Laverne is your defending state champion. They're in their 8th state title in 11 years. Sealing hasn't been to the state championship game since 2009. So there's a lot of moving parts in this. A team that's been there, done that. A team that hadn't been there in a few years, but that team beat this team earlier this year for some confidence. So it will be interesting there. Sealing 13-1 on the year. Laverne 12-1. Do remember this is 8-man football. The field, same distance, but the sidelines are closer. Near the numbers?
Yep.
Near the numbers?
Yep.
But quarterback Caden Manuel accounted for 366 yards and 4 touchdowns in that victory, Sealing over Laverne. Sealing Vengeance lost over Oklahoma Bible 46-0. So you have a state semifinal game, and Sealing shuts out somebody 46-0, and Sealing 70-6 over Wilson first game of the playoffs, and then 32-14 over Hollis. Shut out Wetumpka. Shut out OK Bible. So the last 2 games they played in the playoffs have been shutouts.
Yeah.
And then you look at Laverne, who has been the number 1 team for a good part of the season, 62-16 over the Fighting Fan Shays, Pond Creek Hunter, beat Covington Douglas, beat Walika, and then last week beat Velma Elma, the Comets, 52-36 to get us to Laverne and Sealing. And the only other note I have this one, I didn't see this in the record books, but I'm not going to deny it, but the series dates back to the 1940s. Laverne won the last game prior to this year in 97. So a lot of moving parts on this one, and we'll have our picks in a few moments. That's the Class B state championship. Sealing 2 state championships, 1965 and 1988. Laverne, state champions in 2012, 2013, 2016, and then last year. So we will have our picks here in a few moments. Take a look at the Class 2A matchup, which will take place at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Millwood, state champions in 90, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2016, 2016, and 17. I think some Woods brothers probably has a handful of those trophies. Washington, I was kind of surprised, only 1 state championship.
But always around.
Always around.
Yeah. You always talk about it throughout the year.
1996 state champions. So they're looking to get back there. And actually, Washington is trying to – here's a perfect example. Washington's been in the finals the last 3 seasons, and they've lost 2 in the championship game. Yeah. And they're trying to snap that 2-game losing streak. But it's a rematch. Millwood won this one in 2017 title game, 42-7. And Millwood, they have been putting some points on the board. Yeah. Close first-round game, really close, 34-29 over Crossings Christians, and then they got going. Beat Lindsay 38-12. Beat a very good Sequoia Claremore. They were under the radar, and to beat them by 19 points was pretty good, 49-30. And then they take down Victory Christian last week, 54-22. So Millwood is playing big-time football right now. Washington, we've had them number 1 all season long here on the High School Huddle. Washington beat Atoka 54-7, beat OCS, a good team, 18-11, and then destroyed Idabel 47-6. And then last week, snapped Jones' winning streak, and they did it in a big way, 49-14.
Yeah, beating a really good Jones team there. You look at Millwood, well documented in all sports at Millwood, very athletic. They're going to put up points. This game is going to be a great game. We've had Washington number 1 all year, like you talked about. And for what they did to Jones, a very, 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 very good Jones team, that should raise some eyebrows that they put a beating on them like they did. So should be a heck of a ball game Saturday.
Major Cantrell Jr., dual threat quarterback, in the victory over Jones, had 3 rushing touchdowns. Washington will have a great quarterback and a great running back. They'll get it going. But Millwood offense is going really good right now. Michael Levine, he's a running back in the victory over Victory Christian. 12 carries, 135 yards, had a great defensive game as well. So I think it's going to come down to Washington run game to keep that Millwood offense off the field. And then I think for Washington, they got to stop the big plays for Millwood because Millwood has a lot of big plays. And so we'll see how that one plays out in the 2A game. And then our final preview here, we'll take a look at Fairview and Gore, Class A state championship to end it all. And all season long, there was 4, 5, 6 teams undefeated. And we're waiting to this type of week to wait and see these teams finally collide. You can't, Fairview, Hominy, Ringling, and Gore, they're all spattered throughout the state, so they really couldn't line up without driving 12 hours one way. But we finally got it last week. Fairview over Colcord. That game was played in Hera. Final score there, 38-22. And then Gore just went off on Hominy, wins that game 48-12. That game played in Jinx, and the Gore Pirates are continuing to score points. They put 69 against Crescent. They put 55 up against Woodland, and they put up 63 against Fairland.
Yeah, let's not forget that Gore scored 41 answer points against Hominy here, and then they also rushed for a total of 408 yards, Gore did. But I do want to give a shout-out to the Ultimate Hominy Buck Pride Facebook page for sharing one of our segments last week. They kind of had a little bulletin board for Hominy Bucks. They had a great season. We're big fans of them all year long. Yeah. And I don't want to say I told you so, but we told you so. But no, just kidding. Thank you for watching, you guys. We do appreciate it. But yeah, great season for Hominy.
And listen, it's
that's their team.
That's their team, baby. That's right.
And we love Hominy.
Oh yeah.
And we have all year. We've had them in our rankings all year, and they're a great football team and have a lot to be proud of. We have no dog in these hunts, in these fights, and so Gore's just a really.
We've had Hominy in our top 5, but we've had Gore number 2 all year long.
Yeah, and in hindsight, we made a big mistake. They should have been number 1.
Oh, I had him number 1. You guys had number 2.
I don't recall that.
I know I had Ringling number 1.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought, heck, they were in the state championship.
Don't think you ever had him number 1. There goes Ronnie.
Yeah. He's looking for any win right now.
Any win right now. 19 games back.
I got my sheets. So
look how fast he's digging too, man.
19 games back.
Yeah.
He's pretty cocky for a guy.
We'll get that in a second.
Almost got a whole show without that even being mentioned.
Well, it's over.
Is it 19? We'll have the official numbers here in a second.
Well, it's 19 or 17. I can't remember.
Can I finish the preview real quick?
Sure.
Okay, we'll get the preview here, then we'll get to the...
okay.
Yeah. Fairview, state champions in 1946. Great year.
That was one of my favorite years.
Yellow Jacket football was awesome. 1946. 46.
Oh.
Yeah. And then they also won title in 1999. So I went looking for Gore state championship material.
Here we go.
0.
Yeah.
Not even one school state championship.
Which is shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not one. I didn't find any state championship. Music, drama, speech, basketball, tennis, croquet. Couldn't find anything.
None of them?
Gore's been good in football.
I can look one more time, but I didn't see anything for Gore. If that's wrong, I apologize to all the Pirate Nation out there.
Don't worry, it'll be on Billboard.
Let us know. Yeah, let us know if
we'll hear about it.
But Fairview's looking for the first state title since 1999. They're 3rd overall. First state final appearance. Yeah. And Gore's looking for the first ever perfect season. Obviously, if you haven't won a state championship, you're looking for your first perfect season. But Fairview sophomore Jax Bernard, son of head coach Robert Bernard, 3,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, also kicked 4 field goals in the playoffs. Gore Jr. Noah Cooper completed 70 of 103 passes. Not very many yards, but 7103 is darn good.
It's a pretty darn good percentage.
Near 70%, close to 70%. Just under 1,500 yards, 21 touchdowns. He's also rushed for 1,100 yards and 19 touchdowns. Wow. First meeting between these two schools, so this should be a lot. And by the way, I geek out here a second.
Here we go.
Working on game graphics.
You are,
yeah. The orange Fairview and the green Gore, put them together, is like a perfect color school matchup. It pops. So check it out on the network if you can't make it out.
I mean, I'd like to add to that, but
the orange and green, I'm telling you, it's the best one yet. It's the best one yet.
Good-looking green shirt on. We couldn't wear it tonight.
Couldn't wear it tonight. I can maybe put it on. I can maybe explain why you don't wear green.
It was a head.
I can maybe during our next show, the open mic. Stay tuned with us. Maybe I can put it on and show you why you don't wear green on there. But Fairview's 2 closest game this year, Phil, past 2 weeks. 27-21 over Stroud, fighting Eric Carlos in the quarters. 38-22 over Colcord in the semis. Gore's tightest margin, 55-21, 3rd game of the season at Mounds. So when it gets to a close one,
We'll see
like
what
we
happens.
talked about Cushing.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
brought that up in the 4A game.
So we have. Do you see that comment on YouTube by Scott there? I don't know if it's true or not, but he said powerlifting last year.
Okay.
And there you go.
And that one, and Scott, thank you for letting us know, Scott, because that would the place that I looked on the OSSA website, I don't think they have that on their site because it's not. I don't think it's official, but I count it as one.
Absolutely, heck yeah.
Powerlifting's a big.
I don't think it's an OSSA.
I don't think it's a sanctioned
but it's
sport.
a state title.
Oh yeah.
No, I would count that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott, for
So
that.
they're playing for their second state title.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
School state title.
That's awesome.
State title.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. Glad to appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
So that's why we had that, and then we love the interaction. That's what makes it good. So Scott is with Gore. Oh yeah. Scott, you can keep watching. I got some good news here for you here in a little bit. But all right, because I don't want to get anybody. Well, we've done it all season long, so it doesn't matter.
He's still giddy right now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the game's prediction time. It is Class B. Before we get to
where I
prediction,
thrive, baby.
Before we get to those
Just leave that
predictions,
graphic
let's take a
down.
look
No,
at what's happened so
no.
far. Chris, 8-2 last week. I don't know why that's not bold. Phil, perfect 5-0. Ronnie, hey, over 500. 6-4 last
Baby
week.
steps, guys. Baby steps.
So if you
20 game spread.
That's 20 in the loss column, yeah.
You need a hug.
Desperation lasts 4 or 5 weeks, boys.
Man, it's tough being this good. It really is.
So let's break it down.
You
here.
know what? When I get the one game that I can have a say on this, I'll have 100 wins for the year.
You better get it
Oh,
right.
I got this lock.
You better
It's a
get
lock.
it right.
No, it's a lock.
Because you can max out at 100 wins this year.
That's right.
And if I max out, I get 100 wins this year.
But I still win.
I'm just looking at the win column. 100 wins.
Changing the rules.
No,
I'm not changing the rules.
I think
Look,
he's right.
You got 33 losses. I got 26 losses.
But in the win column,
Yep.
you got 100 wins potentially. I mean, I could go past you potentially as well.
You can't call any of those games.
I can predict these games.
Sure can.
You're in charge of the production.
I'm not on air
You're
talent.
in the room
Yes.
telling people what to go look
And there's
at, what
thousands
not to.
of people in the stadium as well.
It's a problem.
So I could.
20 game lead.
Does that mean I can't pick him either then?
Well, you should not pick them for a different reason.
So we could.
Wow. You're kind of embarrassing yourself at this point.
All right.
My wife loves me. That's all that matters.
So
You guys pray a lot.
let's see here. The first game we'll take a look at is the Class B state championship game.
You're not. This is probably the toughest game.
Yeah.
It's a lock.
This is the toughest game there is.
I'm locking this down.
I went back and forth on this one today.
Well, that's why you find yourself in second place.
I got some inside information today that I cannot share on this
Phil's first.
show.
That's right, Phil's first.
I know. That's why I can say it now.
What do you mean Phil's first?
5-0, undefeated
Yeah.
last week.
Sure enough.
It's tough being the leader. It's tough. Okay, so you ready?
No, I got to pull up. I don't know what happened on my. I got to get to my sheet.
I'm
but
going to
yeah.
need your notes, your homework. I need to refer to a couple things on this.
No. He's that good. He doesn't need notes.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Thank you for acknowledging that. I'm fine. You just let me know when it's time.
Phil, it is time for your Class B state championship game to be played Friday night in Alva, Oklahoma, Ranger Field on the NFHS network.
Called by
Tony Wilson.
Tony Wilson.
Justin Evans will have production. I think not Tony Evans. Justin Evans. Tony Wilson, Justin Evans. I think he might help out Tony with production and a little bit on the call as well.
Well, that's good. Yeah, Tony do a great job up there.
We'll be watching, Tony.
This is a repeat game. Why are you staring at me so?
I'm very interested.
This is a rematch, as you talked about, 40-38, I believe. Right?
40-38, September 9th.
September 9th, which is okay. Ronnie's scaring me a little bit. He's staring at me intently right now.
Don't get
everybody
distracted,
should get you
Phil.
somebody that looks at you like Ronnie looks at me. Everybody should get you one of those guys. No, but great ball game, 40-38. Ceiling, they were up
34-6.
34-6. Ceiling was up.
And Ceiling has
hold
on. And Ceiling has shut out their last two teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, but Laverne came charging back.
They've given up 20 points in the playoffs.
Yeah, Laverne came charging back. which tells me, I don't know exactly what happened in that game, but I don't know if there were turnovers involved early. I don't know what happened.
I wasn't able to get that info, Phil.
But-
I'll work
but that's
hard
what
for
it-
you. I'll work hard for you next time.
But
though.
that's
I'll
what
get
it feels like, right? Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned Laverne's been in state chip, won the state title last year. They've been there. They've won some titles. Huh?
Laverne.
Well, my favorite Laverne is
who's
Laverne
from-
Dowding.
Yeah.
But who's from Laverne, Oklahoma?
Just an entertainer?
Kind of, sort of was one, but I knew them as a news personality.
Well, I know who's from Sealing. I don't know who's from Laverne.
Well, I'm not asking about something. Laverne. News personality, now retired.
State
Former-
or national?
State.
Gary England.
No, he's Sealing.
He's Sealing. No. Oh, we got a good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But also former Miss USA. Or,
Miss USA?
Or
Miss America?
Miss America? One of those big titles.
Oh.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Jane Giroux.
Jane Giroux. Oh my God, I haven't heard that name since I was a little kid.
Jane Giroux.
Ronnie's just woke up. I've never seen Jane Giroux before.
Jane Giroux. What?
Yes.
She was a legend growing up for us. No, no.
Yeah,
She big time?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, when
she was on
when you're young,
KOCO for years.
No, don't distract her. You got to get your pick in.
Oh,
I'm very interested.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, Laverne's been there multiple times.
Miss America 1967. Oh, good year.
Good year.
Yeah, that was
good year. Good year. Sealing's having one of those dream years.
Oh, he's picking Laverne.
Oh, I'm Laverne all the way. It's not going to happen twice. It's not going to happen twice. Laverne. He's picking Laverne too.
Laverne.
It don't matter.
Tigers.
Sealing. Bulldogs.
Wildcats.
Okay. Just say Laverne. Get it over with.
I'm going with Laverne. Yes.
I love it when this happens.
I can still get to 100 wins this year, and that's a successful season. And I can tie Phil now.
You're not tying me.
In the win column.
You have more losses than I do.
In the win column.
And the only reason that's the case, you didn't let me
Chris,
pick all the games.
go for Sealing, man. You gotta make it. You gotta take a chance.
It's not in.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Can't do it.
He gets mad when people.
It's
do
easy.
I want to get the game right. I don't want to beat Phil. I want to get the game right.
Oh,
You
okay.
want to beat me too.
Well, absolutely.
Would you like for me to switch my pick?
Yes,
and pick
please.
Seal? Would you?
Yeah.
Not happening.
You can park me down for Laverne as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
3-0.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Man, that's redemption for the Tigers.
Yeah, it's hard to beat a
Been there,
team
done that.
twice. It's hard.
Championship football.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat them twice.
Been there before. We
It is
talked
hard to
about.
beat.
We talked about
I mean-
being there and doing that, and they've done that.
And the part where they were up 34-6 or whatever, but they give up 30. I mean, they
In the
came
second
charging back.
Yeah.
So that tells me something. They made some adjustments.
I
There
think
was
it was.
penalties.
I think it was 28-6 at halftime, 34-6, and then the run.
Yeah.
So, congratulations, Sealing. It's all you don't ever want to be across like on Game Day Live and Big Noon. You don't and
Jane
Sunday Night
Giroux.
Jane Giroux.
Wow.
19. Yeah, go ahead, Phil. 1967 Miss America.
Jane.
And fair and balance, Gary England from Sealing, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
How do you spell Giroux?
I knew you couldn't figure that out. I was waiting for that question.
Jaroe.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. But
Miss America.
But Gary England Grocery. So you have Jane Giroux against Gary England with KWTV back in the day. So, all right. Well, Phil, are we good to go on?
Jane, very beautiful lady.
Yeah.
Well, she did win.
Yeah.
So she won Miss America?
Yeah, from Laverne, Oklahoma.
Holy criminy, that's big time. Oh. That's a reason. Beautiful lady.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
stunningly, traditionally, very a beautiful lady.
Yes.
Wow.
Jane Giroux.
Yeah, Jane Giroux. And she's from Laverne.
From Laverne.
That's why I picked them.
That's why you picked
Yep.
him. All right. All
Fighting
right.
Jane
Should be a
Giroux.
good one.
That's right.
Friday night, fighting Jane Giroux.
Tony will mention that game. He'll mention Jane Giroux now.
Yeah,
No
I bet he will. Okay. Take a look at our next game. It's the Class A state championship game. Fairview 14-0, Gore 14-0. We knew it was going to be somebody 14-0 and somebody 14-0. We knew it was going to happen. We didn't know who the teams were, but we do now. Fairview and Gore, Yellow Jackets and Pirates, orange versus green. I'm telling you, when you see those graphics, guys, it's going to be awesome. Sorry. Gore, looking for their first ever state championship.
Yep.
Fairview, and these two teams have been close over the last 3-4 seasons of getting there. Just couldn't quite get over the hump to the title game. Now they're in the title game. We've had both these teams in the top 5 all season long. We've had Gore a spot or two above Fairview for a good majority of the season. I think this has the potential of being one of the best games of the entire championship series. I think both teams will be loose, comfortable. Yeah. They both know what they're doing offensively and defensively, and both teams very, very hungry. You never know when you're going to get back to these title games. But I will ride the momentum in Gore, Oklahoma. I take the Pirates to win a close one again. This might be – it's hard to beat a game-winning field goal with no time left on the clock in that 4A title game, but I think this one can live up to it as that 4A game. I'm going with the Gore Pirates to claim their first ever football state championship. They got it in powerlifting. If you can lift weights and be the best in your class, I'm pretty sure that moves over to the football field. We've seen it all season long. I'm going with the Gore Pirates. Great helmet, by the way.
Yeah.
Great helmet.
Ronnie?
Oh, it's my turn?
Well, I don't get to pick.
Oh, that's right. You don't get to pick.
You have more chances to get to 100 than I do.
I don't look at the stat line.
I know you don't.
Yeah. We look at the bottom of the final scores, all that. Everyone, people look at that.
I know. Such a load.
Who would you pick, Phil?
No, you can't say that.
I can't.
Oh, can you whisper?
Well,
I'm a pro.
We're going to – there you go.
Oh, professional.
He's a pro this week.
He's pro this week.
I mean, this week?
Postseason.
Oh, yeah, postseason.
Postseason Phil.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Postseason Phil.
Yeah, no pick for Phil because he is calling the state championship games.
I have Gore as well in this game. Number 2 all year. Been liking them. Love the G.
That is a great looking. Oh, sorry.
There you go.
This always happens.
But man, you guys need to look up the helmet. The helmet is.
We'll see it.
Yeah, we'll see it.
Well,
No. I want it to be a surprise.
Can I not? Well,
all right.
There.
That is the Class A championship game, and we'll take a look at the final game of the night here on the High School Huddle. And we're going over 7:30 again. 13-1 Millwood Falcons taking on the undefeated Washington Warriors, 14-0. I kind of gave you the preview earlier. It is now time for picks. This game will be 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon at the Rich. Is that a cool name?
The Rich, I like
the
that.
Rich.
Yeah, that's well.
Chad Richardson Stadium, the Rich. The rich get richer, but who is it going to be? Millwood or Washington? Ronnie, no pick from Phil.
No pick from Phil.
Of course not.
It's going to be an excellent game. Excited to see that Millwood offense up close and personal. It should be real fun. Washington has been our number 1 pick all year long. I believe we picked them to win the state championship as well in the beginning thing. But man, Gore hasn't been impressive all year long, especially in this playoffs. So Millwood has been impressive all year long in these playoffs. So I'm going to switch from picking Washington like I normally was at the beginning of the playoffs to I'm going to pick Millwood to win this game. They've been very impressive in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he's a bandwagon.
Yeah, I can't argue either way with that. Millwood
professional
very easily could win this ball game. There's no doubt. Millwood. Very talented offensively. And I mentioned earlier, Washington has got to stop the big plays. The defensive backs for Washington have got to keep all the playmakers in front of them, or they're going to be chasing Millwood and those athletes all night or all afternoon long. But I think Washington, with the running back, the dual threat quarterback, and the running back, I think if they can run the ball and keep that Millwood offense off the field. Washington's been there, done that. They know in this, Millwood has 2, but Washington has been in this championship game for the last 2 seasons in a row. And it would not surprise me if Millwood win it, but I think Washington is focused. They want that taste out of their mouth. I think this is what they've been looking for all season long. They might have overlooked some teams, even in the playoffs, and maybe it cost them a game where it's a little bit closer than what it probably should have been. But I think the big prize is in front of them, and I'm going with Washington to capture their second state championship for the first time since 1996. It will be a good one. You talk about two different type of teams. Yeah. One team that wants to make the big plays, team that kind of wants to grind it out over 4 quarters. I think it'll be a fun football game on Saturday afternoon between these 2 programs.
What's the weather supposed to be like Saturday?
Well, Phil, I'm glad you asked because that was on my notes to look at here. as far as our production that we had talked about. And Saturday afternoon, a high of 59 degrees, sunny skies.
Perfect sideline weather.
Oh, I thought you were talking about for the running game of Washington.
Well, I don't care about that.
Oh. The equipment will stay dry.
Well, everything. Well, me being the primary piece, yes, I will be dry.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you were to pick the game, maybe with you're wearing G, maybe that was for Gore.
Well, I won't be able to wear this Saturday.
Right.
Because cap, I'll have this on Saturday.
Okay. All right. So those are our picks. That's our show.
Oh,
that's our show.
That's it.
That's it.
Hour and a half. Yeah, way too long.
Yeah, way too long.
Way too long.
Longer than normal.
Chris,
open mic next.
Yeah, we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back with the open mic. So follow us on Second Banana Media. You get to see a little bit of personality. Right? You got to be a little pro on this.
Oh boy,
try to amateur pro.
Try to.
It doesn't go very far, but
it's an effort.
It's an effort. It's an attempt. So that'll do it here for the High School Huddle. Big thank you to Josh Seaballs, who joined us in our first segment, the pastor at Generations Church, who is our title sponsor.
Great
Glad
guy.
we were able to spend some time with him. If you missed that, we'll definitely podcast that later to hear all the good things happen at Generations Church. Big thank you to all of our great sponsors as well. Best of luck to your team. There's only 6 of you out there left. Congratulations to all the state championship teams last week and all the teams who finished up runner-up and had a great season as well. For Ronnie Phillips, Phil Nichols, I'm Chris Evans. We'll talk to you next time here on the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church. Phil?